Welcome, Astral Visionary Ones. The most dangerous individuals are not the loudest in the room. They're the ones that make quiet seem like thunder. This is a fact. Lions do not roar while they hunt. They stalk. They strategize. And when they move, the game is finished. Sounds familiar? That's you. The selected ones. The quiet storm. Calculated chaos. The unstoppable power that turns heads and sends your detractors into a full-blown cardiac workout. Why are they running? Because they recognize the reality. You aren't here to play. You are here to dominate. You don't just live life. You bend, twist, and form it to meet your vision. They assumed you were simply another person in the throng. They now know you are the audience, the stage, and the spotlight. But do not worry. They will survive. Probably. After all, they could need to work out. First and foremost, your very existence is a story surprise. You are not merely going through life. You're the narrative twist no one saw coming. People anticipate the usual since that's what they're used to. However, you exist to disturb the script. You're not what people envisioned when they thought of success, power, or influence. You're the unexpected turn of events that throws all of your meticulously prepared plans off course. The fact that you are unpredictable is what makes you the most deadly. You don't follow the rules they have learned. They believe they had life figured out. Then you came there and rewrote the whole tale. Your mere presence disrupts the situation. It's not just what you do. That's how you do it. Something about your approach keeps folks wondering. You're not noisy or anxious for attention, yet you seem to attract everyone's attention. That is because your energy needed. You move differently. You think differently. People aren't sure whether to admire or fear you. This misunderstanding keeps people on edge. They can't put you in a box, which drives them mad. What makes you genuinely dangerous is that you did not come looking to fit in. You came to stand out. You are not attempting to play a part. You're making a completely new one. That amount of inventiveness is dangerous. Not because you're attempting to scare anybody, but because you demonstrated that the existing quo is not unassailable. People who depend on norms and expectations fail when confronted with someone like you. You are a disruptor, a game changer, and the reason why normal feels so vulnerable. The world is not prepared for you, and that is precisely why you are here. Number 2, haters are free. PR haters are the finest thing that ever happened to you, and they don't even know it. Every time they whisper your name, roll their eyes, or speak behind your back, they are conducting free marketing. They believe they're tearing you down, but they're really shining a spotlight on you. The more they attempt to undermine you, the more they highlight your presence. They are unable to stop watching, discussing, and obsessing. They keep you relevant. Your presence drains their energy, and they don't even charge you for the mental space you occupy. What makes it even sweeter is that detractors can't help themselves. It's like an addiction. They despise what you stand for, yet they can't turn away. They keep your name alive in talks, even in places you've never been to. Their hostility generates curiosity, which pulls others in. Suddenly, others want to know who this guy is that everyone is talking about. Their efforts to destroy you create fascination around you. Here is the irony. Their hatred is not directed against you. It is about them, your motivation, achievement, and confidence. It all reveals something in them that they wish they had. Every insult they fling at you is only a reflection of their insecurities. You remind them of their limitations, and they cannot take it. So they strike out, believing it will weaken you. But what they don't comprehend is that you don't need their approval. The reality is their hatred is ineffective against someone who understands their value. You've learned to channel their animosity into gasoline. They keep throwing shade while you keep developing. They can't understand why they're losing. The solution is easy. You have already won. They have simply not caught up yet. Number 3, dangerous because you are unpredictable. What makes you genuinely deadly is that no one can anticipate your next move. You're not bound by anyone's expectations or trapped into a pattern that others can interpret. People like feeling as if they understand you and can anticipate what you'll do next. However, with you, they're always incorrect. You keep them on edge because you don't behave like them. They prepare to respond, while you remain silent. They expect you to withdraw and come back stronger. Just when they believe they've seen all you have to offer, you surprise them with something fresh. Your unpredictability is not a trick. It is who you are. It is not about being disorganized or impetuous. It is about understanding when to strike and when to remain motionless. You don't spend time explaining yourself or demonstrating anything to those who don't care. That is what worries them most. You are not out here playing their games or obeying their rules while they are attempting to figure out your movements. You have already produced 10 more. They didn't see it coming. It's not only about action, however. Even your presence seems uncertain. You enter into a room, and everything changes. People aren't sure whether to approach you, shun you, or observe you from a distance. You carry an energy that is both magnetic and disturbing. That type of presence is not learned. It's natural. People get anxious because they have no control over it or you. When they realize they can't box you in or pin you down, terror takes over. You have become the thing. They can't define the force. They can't stop, and the person they'll never really comprehend. And this is what makes you untouchable. Number 4, failure is your hidden weapon. Failure does not mean the end for you. It's your launch pad, while others see loss. When things go wrong, you see an opportunity. It does not frighten you. It energizes you. Every failure serves as a roadmap for determining precisely what has to be corrected, enhanced, or reimagined. While most individuals break under the weight of their failures, you turn them into stepping stones to something greater and better. It's not like you're immune to failure. It's that you've perfected the process of converting it into gasoline. Your detractors don't grasp this. They sit back and wait for you to fall, thinking that this time you will remain down. But each time you fall, you become stronger, wiser, and more determined to get back up. You may see it as resilience. It's simply another day to hone your trade. You do not lose. You learn. And with each instruction, you become more deadly, competent, and unstoppable. What actually bothers them is your attitude. You are not frightened to take chances because you are not afraid of failure. You understand that success is not about avoiding errors. It's about what you do once you've created them. Most individuals stop after failure, but you embrace it as feedback. That frightens your detractors because they understand there's no way to defeat someone who views failures as a challenge rather than a failure. Your capacity to recover makes you unpredictable, and unpredictability equals power. They can't plot your collapse because every effort to trip you up becomes part of your plan. Failure does not weaken you. It sharpens you. It's the edge they never saw coming. The hidden weapon they didn't realize they gave you. While they were expecting you would quit, you are already on your way to your next triumph. Number 5, you are their reflection, and they despise what they see. What truly gets under their skin is that you are more than simply a person. They perceive you as a mirror. Every time they look at you, they have to face a version of themselves. They are too terrified to be. Your audacity gives their prudence the appearance of dread. Your ambition casts a sharp light on their excuses. Your accomplishment does more than merely inspire. It is unsettling. It makes them think about all they could have done but didn't, and the discomfort. That is why they detest you. They won't confess it, of course. Instead, they'll put their anxieties on you. They'll question your decisions, critique your techniques, or claim that your victories are just chance. But deep down, their animosity is not for you. It is about them. It's about giving up on their aspirations, the chances they were afraid to take, and the voice in their brain whispering, You could have done that as well. You did not just succeed. You breached the tacit norm that they had to remain stuck. The problem is you don't even attempt to make them feel tiny. You're simply being yourself, living unapologetically, seeking your goals, and refusing to compromise. That is the part they cannot manage. Your entire presence tests their comfort zone, and people cling to it like a lifeline. You are evidence that the only limitations are those people impose on themselves. And hating you is simpler than facing the reality. What they don't comprehend is that their fear of you is unrelated to your successes. 00:09:30:02 00:09:54:00. It is about what such accomplishments imply about their lack of effort. You are not their adversary. You're their wake-up call. But instead of responding, they choose to muffle their ears and pretend you are the issue. Number 6, your quiet is deafening. Your silence says volumes and shocks people to their core, while others try to explain themselves, defend their decisions, or respond to critiques. You don't say anything, which is what makes you scary. Your outcomes speak for themselves, therefore you don't need to defend your reputation. When you go into a room, your accomplishments, progress, and presence are enough to prove your worth. The air shifts. It is not arrogance. It is certainty. You do not ask for respect. You ordered without saying a word. People dread what they cannot foresee or control. Silence unnerves them because it allows their imagination to fill in the gaps. In your situation, their imagination is crazy. They presume you are calculating, scheming, and planning your next move. And maybe you are. But the beauty of your silence is that they will never know for certain. More than anything else, their anxiety is fueled by uncertainty. When haters attack you, they expect a reply. They urge you to strike out, quarrel, or defend yourself. However, being silent depletes their strength. You don't spend your time proving them incorrect since their viewpoints are unimportant to your purpose. Every second they spend attempting to bring you down is time you spend leveling up. Your silence is like a mirror, reflecting their anxieties back at them. It challenges people to confront their own doubts, failings, and weaknesses. In the silence, they come to comprehend something terrifying. You don't just withstand criticism, you flourish despite it. While they're talking, you're winning. Therefore, your quiet is louder than any noise they could create. Number 7, they cannot compete with the blueprint. You aren't only ahead of the curve. You're the curve. While others are trying to figure out what comes next, you've already moved on to something they didn't realize existed. You are not pursuing trends. You are creating, sculpting, and leaving your mark. They attempt to emulate you, but by the time they figure out your previous move, you've already made 3 new ones. It is not a competition. It is a game. They're not even aware they're losing. What makes you so untouchable is that your method does not rely on imitation or shortcuts. It is founded on a unique vision and a thorough grasp of your mission. People may mimic the surface-level aspects of your style, tactics, and approach, but they will never understand the substance of what motivates you. As a result, their efforts are consistently ineffective. They believe that success can be stolen, but you believe that it must be built from the bottom up. And although they are observing you, you are not paying attention to them. You're too concentrated on remaining on track, too busy creating and executing, to worry about who's attempting to keep up. That is the true difference between you and them. You're playing by your own rules, while they're stuck trying to figure out the game. The greatest aspect is that they will never acknowledge you are the person they are observing. They will behave as if they had always known what to do. Their maneuvers seem to be unique, yet they are aware of the reality. You set the speed, you control the story, and set the rules. Competing with you is not just challenging, it is impossible. Number 8, your attention is unnerving. Focus is your strength. And it's the one thing your detractors can't take when they're monitoring your every move, waiting for you to screw up. You aren't even recognizing their presence. You have tunnel vision when it comes to achieving your objectives. Nothing, absolutely nothing, can get you off course. That level of dedication is uncommon, and it's precisely why you're dangerous. Your detractors are afraid because they understand they can't divert you. Most individuals would break in the face of being watched, critiqued, and condemned, but not you. You don't have to reply to their loudness, since it doesn't matter. Every ounce of your energy is focused to the grind, to creating something that cannot be ignored. You're so focused that the distractions around you seem inconsequential, which is what terrifies them the most. They don't know how to cope with someone who doesn't care. They want you to fail, to get caught up in the drama, and to spend time worrying about their thoughts. But you're too disciplined for that. Your concentration reminds them of what they lack: the capacity to keep their sights on the goal without being lost in the turmoil. When you're so concentrated, you move differently. You aren't distracted by comparisons or self-doubt because you're too focused on your art. You don't mind who is looking or what they are saying. You are just concerned about the finish line. And the scariest thing for your detractors, they understand that type of concentration is unstoppable. Number 9, your return game is savage. When life attempts to knock you down, it is not the end. It's the start of a new chapter. Every failure is simply another chance for you to bounce back stronger, wiser, and more determined than before. People believe they have seen the worst of you when you fail, but what they don't know is that your failures are only warm-ups for your comebacks. Your comeback game is cutthroat because it is never simply about rebounding back. You don't just recover. You ascend. You don't just return. You are dominant. Every time they believe you're out for the count, you rise to a whole new level, making it hard for them to ignore you. Your perseverance is more than simply inspirational. It's intimidating. It reminds everyone watching that you're not only made to last, you're designed to flourish. Haters like celebrating your failures. They believe it is their chance to shine. This is their opportunity to finally get ahead. But what they don't comprehend is that every time they rule you out, they are merely setting themselves up for failure. You don't remain down long enough for them to appreciate it. Instead, you see every setback as a learning opportunity, transforming each loss into a weapon. The beauty of your comebacks is that they're unexpected. People never see them coming, and when they do, they land hard. Your capacity to transform hardship into opportunity is what distinguishes you. You've transformed setbacks into stepping stones, detractors into motivators, and failure into a force that pulls you ahead. By the time they understand what's going on, you're already miles ahead, demonstrating once again that no impediment can stop you. Your comebacks create more than simply a statement. They have an influence that no one can ignore. Number 10, you redefine risk. Danger is not about sheer force or irresponsible behavior. It's all about control. You've mastered the skill of discipline, which scares those who are driven by their instincts. You understand who you are, what you want, and how to get there. You don't allow emotions or external distractions derail you. That level of internal control, it's uncommon and strong. While others want acceptance, recognition, or instant gains, you remain cool, measured, and focused on the long term. What makes you so deadly is that your strength originates from inside. It was not borrowed, purchased, or based on anybody else's viewpoint. Feeling important does not need bright diversions or continual attention. You've already determined your value, and it's unshakable. People cannot influence you because you do not want what they are providing. They cannot rattle you since you have already managed your emotions. Most individuals will never acquire that degree of self-possession, which worries them. Your risk stems from your constancy. You do not burn out, lash out, or appear desperate. You walk deliberately and precisely, making every step count. People who depend on turmoil to succeed cannot manage someone who lives on order. They don't know how to cope with someone who doesn't react yet reacts with purpose. You have redefined what it means to be a threat. It is not about being unexpected in a reckless way. It's about being untouchable because you have control. That is a power that cannot be duplicated, stolen, or fabricated. It is yours. It's the type of power that keeps people wondering and fleeing. Number 11. You have nothing more to prove. When you stop looking for affirmation, you become unstoppable. The instant you understand you don't need anyone's acclaim, approval, or acknowledgement, you enter a whole new realm of freedom. That's where you are now, and that's why your detractors are afraid. They can't control someone who doesn't value their thoughts. Your self-esteem is not dependent on external validation since you have already demonstrated everything to yourself. You battled your worries, overcame your doubts, and rose beyond every obstacle life threw to you. Approval from others. It is a benefit, not a must. While your detractors are busy attempting to get under your skin, you've moved on to larger things. Their comments are meaningless because you understand who you are and what you are capable of. The actual kicker. Your lack of desire for affirmation renders them unimportant. They feed on emotions, drama, and the hope that their words will be meaningful to you. However, when you refuse to accept their existence, they lose all power. You aren't neglecting them out of spite. You honestly do not care. That type of apathy is a power they can never comprehend. When you have nothing else to prove, your attention goes fully to your own objectives. You're no longer distracted by the noise, which worries those who depend on distraction to remain relevant. Your stillness, serenity, and self-assurance make them feel tiny since it emphasizes all they're currently pursuing. You are free, and freedom is the ultimate power. Number 12. Legends are based on conflict. Nobody recalls the quiet ones that went undetected. They remember the people who made an impact. You do not merely live. You make a mark. You may either love or detest someone. People cannot stop talking about you, and it is what makes you memorable. The most divisive personalities in history were never afraid to stir the pot. Neither are you. You aren't here to satisfy everyone. You're here to have an effect. Controversy isn't a negative thing when it stems from genuineness. You stand for something, and it shocks others who choose to remain neutral. Your bravery pushes individuals beyond their comfort zones, and their discomfort reveals more about them than it does about you. They are unsure whether to adore or loathe you, and that tension is what drives your mythology. Whispers, gossip, and criticism. It all shows that you're doing something correctly. People do not discuss the mundane. They discuss the exceptional. Your actions, decisions, and unabashed presence inspire debates that extend well beyond your control. Every view about you, positive or negative, contributes to the mystique you're creating. Your detractors are a part of the tale, even if they are unaware of it. Their fear, wrath, and curiosity with you only serve to heighten your appeal. You don't just live rent-free in their heads. You own the whole block. They may attempt to bring you down, but all they're doing is adding fuel to the fire that keeps your reputation alive. Legends are not formed on quiet. They are built on noise. And whether it's acclaim or criticism, it's all evidence that you're memorable. Keep creating waves, rocking the room, and allowing controversy to create your tale. Finally, what actually makes you dangerous is not your movements, but the intensity you emanate. You've built a universe in which failure does not bother you, where your very existence sends shockwaves through the room, and where other people's views are meaningless. You're an unrivaled force, a template that others strive to emulate but never quite capture. You're not just living your life. You're molding, mastering, and controlling every moment. Those who attempt to bring you down just feed the fire that propels you higher. Your quiet renders them speechless. Your concentration sends them scurrying, but your unpredictability keeps them running. You've made controversy your calling card, and you accept that some people will adore you while others will be afraid of what you stand for. But none of this matters since, at the end of the day, you have nothing more to prove. You don't want adulation or recognition, which is what makes you unstoppable. The only opinion that counts is yours. And when you discover you've unlocked a level of power that no one can take away from you, you're a legend on the rise. The narrative that people can't stop talking about, but will never completely grasp. And that, my buddy, is what makes you such a formidable opponent. Keep moving, changing, and rewriting the rules. Because when you truly release your magnificence, the world will be taken by surprise. If you like what you read and want to see more of this unapologetic, high-energy stuff, don't forget to subscribe. Stay tuned, because there's a lot more heading your way. And believe me, you do not want to miss it. Join the movement, and let us continue to rise together.